The Council of Franks, on behalf of delicious Oscar Mayer 100% beef franks, has declared its official position. Oscar Mayer 100% beef franks are 100% beef frank delicious. This summer, choose delicious. Choose 100% beef. Keep it Oscar.
All right, here we go. We are back. It is the ManFUzed Podcast. Kay Lee here, your host, my co-host, as always, Mr. Ben H.
What's up?
So check it out. Big news. We are recording this on Tuesday, the 13th. And in a short amount of time from the recording of this episode, Donald Trump will be indicted and arrested officially.
Well, he was indicted. Now he's going to be arraigned. He's going to
now
be
he's going to be technically arrested.
Right.
He will be fingerprinted.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to some bullshit on the way here. And I'm not defending Donald, whether he had authorization to make these confidential documents non-confidential, what he did with them. I have no idea why he drug his fucking feet on giving these things back. Did he know that he had them? I don't fucking know. One side seems to think it's a big deal and the other side doesn't.
Right.
So I do know that this is the first former president, they're saying, to ever be indicted on a federal crime. 36 charges is what they're trying to get.
Right.
So, likely he's not going to spend a second in jail. Right. Technically, he's got a fundraiser at his
he's heading back to New Jersey and has a big speech and a fun. I mean, his followers love it. I mean, they don't love it. It further points to how the current administration is weaponizing their power against the leading Republican candidate.
Right.
If this were done the other way around, it would be an outrage. Something about
some
Donald
people
Trump,
are outraged.
But there's something about him, and the thing is
something about him that outrages the other side.
It is, and it is what it is. But it's unprecedented in so many ways. And look, to me, how can you not see what they're trying to do? This has been ongoing since the guy came down the escalator. I mean, he's been impeached twice. He's already been arrested once in New York.
Indicted.
Over the Stormy Daniels thing. What a joke. Right? I mean, it just goes on and they just can't stop. They just cannot stop going after him. And so the thing is this. If it's true that he smoked their ass in the last election, and we know that Joe Biden won with 81 million votes, right?
Right.
But we also know that Trump got 75, almost 76 million votes, which is, other than Joe Biden, more than any presidential candidate has ever gotten, and way more than any incumbent presidential candidate has ever.
And the only reason Biden...
Other than Joe Biden, who won an election, he's also the first president in history to win an election and not win the bellwether counties. The bellwether counties have predicted the result of an election until Joe Biden. Guess how many Trump won? 19. Guess how many Biden won? 1. There's so many things about that election that are just absolutely fucking unheard of. But it doesn't matter because Biden's the president. He won the election. And okay, let's move on with our life. But if, in fact, they did do what he's claiming that they did, and if, in fact, there is proof of that, and if, in fact, they know that they're going to get beat again by him, then what options do they have? Because if he gets back in, they're fucked. They are so fucked.
Well, that, and they can't stand the thought of living in a Donald Trump, presidency for another 4 years.
But that doesn't matter. It's
right.
The will of the people.
Well, the only reason Biden won and got that many votes is because so many people hated Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if those votes were legit.
Well, it's funny when you look at the data, right? We've all seen it.
Oh, yeah.
It goes like this, and Trump is up, and Trump is up, and Trump's taking away the lead, and then Biden's thing goes like this. It ticks up over Trump, and then it finishes.
Right.
So his line, Trump's sign goes like this.
But that was from mail-in voting.
Of course, there's a reason. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's all unheard of.
Right.
First time, coincidental. I mean, why was there mail-in voting? Because of COVID. What the fuck was COVID? Was COVID the tool to create the mail-in voting so that the election could be taken? I mean, who the fuck knows? These are all just ideas, right?
Right. Of course. Theories upon theories.
Theories upon theories upon theories. But regardless, the fact is that whether or not Trump took documents, which every president has done.
I mean, they just found.
Mike Pence had documents. Trump had Listen.
Biden had them in his garage.
It's all it is a loophole. All it is these guys are sitting up there going, how the fuck can we get him? Wait, does he have classified documents? Of course he has classified documents. He's the president of the United States. Let's make a big to-do about it. Let's send the police down there to raid Mar-a-Lago. And capture the documents. And then we're going to prosecute him. And see, the thing is, they can do that. They shouldn't, but they can because they're the White House. It's the executive branch. They don't need Congress for these types of things. And they have part of the executive branch is the Department of Justice. So Merrick Garland reports directly to Joe Biden. And then Merrick Garland hired this special counsel, Jack Smith, which all of it's just unheard of. All of it is completely unheard of. And now they're trying to put him in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, they're talking like they were rattling off, this charge brings 20 years at maximum.
The rest of his life, they're going to put him in jail. For what? Because you don't like him? No, because it's self-preservation. They got two choices. Either they're going to be able to put him away and they're not going to have to worry about him anymore, or he's going to kick their fucking ass. And they know it. And so whether you like him or not, whether you hate him or love him, I'm sure there's plenty of people listening to us right now that are saying, no, Ben H. I don't agree with what Ben H is saying.
Oh, that dick Ben H.
Dick Ben H. Look, it's a free country, and we should be supporting everyone's right to freedom. We should be supporting everybody's right. I mean, this guy, are you denying the fact that he ran the best economy that we've seen since fucking whenever?
Some people would say no, and some people would say yes.
So it's all up for debate, right?
But I did see that one thing that Trump had in his corner was that I think the judge in the county that is presiding over the case was one of the judges he put
Random selection, too.
Yeah, and that is irking the Democrats.
I love it. I just love it.
But is it official that she is the one?
Yeah.
Well, because they've
asked her to recuse herself.
And she's not.
She's like, eat a dick.
Yeah, eat a dick. So
I hope she acquits him. These are bullshit charges. It's garbage. It is bull. You could levy these charges on any former president of the United States. You could levy the same charges on them right now.
I just want to know, okay, because I know sometimes he's a very narcissistic guy. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
His ego, the feeding of his ego is everything.
It's bigger than his airplane.
It is.
Yeah.
But when the archives people are reaching out saying, why wouldn't you just give them fucking back?
Well, who's to say that he didn't?
That's true.
Who's to say that they did reach out? I mean, who's to say that it is the way that it's stated in the indictment?
It's true.
Who's to say? I mean, we see their side of it. How could he be potentially victimized is the question. How could they spin it in a way to make him look like he didn't do it when he actually did? And the problem is...
Well, we all know that Biden had documents and Pence had documents, so I would imagine Trump probably did have documents, but whether...
100% he did. He's the president of the United States. You're dealing with things as the president of the United States where you leave office, there's still stuff going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's still stuff. You have a Secret Service detail. So here's the thing. So the whole time, it's not like Donald Trump himself is ordering these documents removed. It's not like Donald Trump himself is carrying these documents around.
Oh, he ain't doing shit.
He's not doing any of it. He's a full staff. He's got a full Secret Service who are employed by the United States government. They're with him 24 hours a day. What do you need? Come get it.
Right.
Whatever.
I don't know where the fuck
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The boxes were everybody knows what boxes I have. You come get the box. It's not like Hillary Clinton where the data was destroyed. The data was erased erased. Nothing was destroyed here.
Right.
All of the things that they were looking for, they got back.
Yeah, but why aren't they?
Nobody's saying anything's
and
missing.
they're not doing anything to Biden because he's the president. And Biden had documents from when he was the vice president.
Right.
How long? I mean, Trump's been out of office for just a few years.
Exactly.
I mean, Biden was out of office. This is like 8 years ago or whatever. How long ago? 12 years ago? When was Biden the vice president?
I mean, like 05 to 12 or something like that.
So 10 years, he's had these documents in his garage near his Corvette or whatever the fuck.
It's a joke. It's like, it's a complete joke. And I mean, if you really want to get into the details of it, like the president has the ability to declassify things that the vice president doesn't. So the president technically could be like, oh, these documents, it's cool, I declassified them, But he can't when he's not president anymore, though, right? That's what you're saying. I mean, well, he was the president, you know what I'm saying? So, but the vice president doesn't have that power. I would imagine you would have to go through someone on your staff would have to get a signature saying, these are now disclassified or something like official to where you could, But it's the presidential powers, which are the laws of our nation. And if you don't like them, change them. You know what I'm saying? But these are the powers that we give the president of the United States. They all get the same powers. Right. And so just because you don't like Trump doesn't mean that he doesn't get the same thing. The problem is the more they dislike him, the more I like him. The more they treat him like this, the more they prosecute him, the more they do this, the more I like him. Because I fucking hate them. Right. I know I hate them. For a fact. I mean, I don't like them. I don't like people like them. I don't like what they stand for. I don't like what they think is okay. I don't like any of it. Right. Whatever the Democrat Party is doing, and we don't even have to make this political, but I guess we are, I don't fucking like. Now, I'm not saying they're not good people and they don't have love in their hearts and they don't love their family or they deserve to die or anything like that. We just don't agree. Well, you have friends that are Democrats. I do, and I like them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right, but you're saying as a whole. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, how fucking could you? Literally, I do. In the back of my mind, I'm like, how could you? How could you, for example, how could you support a 5-year-old getting gender reassignment surgery? Yeah, we talked about that. They will argue that with you. They will argue that that's okay. Not every Democrat will. No, but that's what you're supporting. Right. You're supporting the main narrative. Right. You know what I'm saying? And whether or not you think it's cool, you're still voting for it. You're still in the camp that does support it. Right. I find that to be abhorrent. Right. Well, I think it's disgusting. Well, there are things Republicans vote for, too, that, probably you don't directly support, but by supporting, I'm no conservative Republican. That's a fact. You're a fascist fuck. I'm joking. I'm no conservative Republican whatsoever. I'm just playing. Nor am I a liberal Democrat. But I am someone who feels like I know the difference between right and wrong. And what they're doing to Trump is wrong. And what they're doing with the trans agenda and all this kind of shit, to me, is wrong. What they're doing with these kids in this Pride Month is wrong. I just think it's wrong. I don't think it's right. I don't think you sexualize children. I'm not in it. I mean, look at this law that they're making. Well, the Pride Month in and of itself isn't bother me at all. Like, of course, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, if you're talking about small children or something like that, I'm talking about Target. I'm talking about Target decking out the kids section with gay pride shit for your kid. I don't know. It's just wrong to me. I don't think kids should be like sexualized like that. I don't think kids should be put in a position to make that kind of decision. Right. It should come natural at a natural time, like whenever they start showing interest in the same sex or opposite sex. Sure. Cool. Which is the same reason why we most of the time protect our small kids from watching R-rated movies or seeing things because they don't know. Shit. Right. To seeing Michael Myers, murder 30 people because, and why you keep them from playing certain video games until they're a certain age, until they consciously know better. Yep. They have a moral, that's wrong, this is right. Yeah. That's why we protect our kids. That's why for a good amount of time I wouldn't let my kids watch the news even. Right. Because the news is bad horrible. News. It's not good news. No, and it's basically displaying all the horrific shit we do to each other. Yeah. And that happens to people in real time live. That's right. And absolutely. And that shit isn't fake. Most of the time it's got a real tragedy attached to it.
you know.
Talking about real estate, actually, the Biden administration, have you heard about this? They just pushed down a law on mortgages where if you're getting a mortgage that's a jumbo mortgage, you have an additional fee now to pay on your jumbo mortgage, which goes to paying the closing costs of people's mortgage who are challenged with credit.
Did you hear about what they were doing in California about the tax? So, like, if you sell, like, anything over, like, 5 million or 10 million, I forget, my wife was explaining it to me, like, you had to pay this tax that went to, I guess it was poverty or something.
Yeah.
And it was costing you another $100,000 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, yet the country is $30 trillion in debt, and we're printing money, so who gives a fuck, right? And we sent, I guess, close to 200 billion to Ukraine, but, we can't guard our own border. Why do we have millions of people coming across our southern border?
Well, and why do we have hundreds of thousands or millions of, have you seen the homeless?
Thank you. Okay. So these are all Democrat things. This shit could all be cleaned up real easy. This is all Democrat bullshit.
Like Washington, D.C. has a homeless, like, epidemic and same with San Francisco. I mean, like, it's.
So some guy on Instagram was talking about California, and I was like, California's Marxist bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And the dude's like, you can't describe what Marxism is, this, that, and the other thing. And so I was very polite with him. But, Marxism, it's very important to understand what Marxism is, because that's what's happening in America right now. Marxism, it is the set of principles, or it's the path, okay? It's a path between capitalism and communism. It's a path between capitalism and communism.
It's a roadmap.
It is. It's a roadmap. And it doesn't necessarily mean the same things. It's just things that can be used to destabilize society in a way where the Marxists are able to gain enough support by the destabilized people for them to vote in communism, where the people serve the interests of the state, and in exchange for that, the state provides a stipend. So it's called state capitalism, where now the benefits of capitalism are blocked off from the people and the citizens, and it's all absorbed by the elite, the government itself, the ruling class. So it's a separation of class. And that's what's happening. And that's what the Democrats are pushing, okay? And they do it in the name of love. And they do it in the name of acceptance. They do it in the name of all these things that are beautiful things. But they are the wolf in sheep's clothing. Not all the Democrat voters. I'm not talking about them particularly. I'm talking about those which will have these policies. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, dangerous, dangerous person. He has destroyed California, and he's continuing to do so. Why? Why would he do that? Why would there be homeless people throughout the streets? Why would there be all of these things? Why would that happen? Why would the southern border be open? Why would we allow people to just march in by the millions and take advantage of our job market and take advantage of our welfare services and take advantage of all the things that we pay taxes to ensure that the people in our country who have less and who need are taken care of? No, we're just going to let the rest of the world dump their people into the country, and that's going to be our new population of. It's so frustrating. And it's really scary, man, because this whole thing with Trump, as this happens, it's about Trump, but it's not really about Trump. This is the administrative state.
It's bigger than Trump.
This is the administrative state flexing its muscles and saying, it doesn't matter.
Right. And it's like,
if you say the wrong thing.
And it's them exercising power moves that have never been done before to see if they can get away with it and how far they can take it.
That's exactly right. And it's been going on for a while, but a big move was COVID. COVID was a big move. The lockdowns, the vaccine, the compliance. They were searching for compliance. Are they going to comply?
Well, it's because they used fear as the tool.
Of course.
They used fear.
Of course. Absolutely. And these are measures. I mean, we know that China did COVID. It's a fact. That's where it came from.
Right.
But I don't know if it came
now,
from
we're not saying
bat or a laboratory.
And we're not saying that the United States had anything to do with the release of it, or that COVID was fake, or that the vaccines are the cause of weren't warranted or whatever, but it's the implication of the mandatory vaccines of before, or you can't go anywhere or go to work, or it's the fear, like, I mean, my neighbor at the time, and I don't want to get down a whole COVID thing because shit, if you ask anybody, like, COVID who? It's gone. I mean, for them, as anybody, no one's talking about COVID anymore. But I remember my neighbor and my neighbor's wife, who used to live next door to me, was such a germaphobe. She was, a spider in her house would ruin her whole fucking weekend. But when that came out and COVID, jumped on the scene, I was like, we won't see that bitch for a fucking ever.
Yeah.
And I remember her making her husband, when he went to the grocery store, he would have to take everything out of the car in the garage and disinfect and wipe down everything that was purchased.
Yeah.
With gloves and a mask. I was like, this bitch is off her rocker, I get it. The tale was scary. It lives on surfaces.
Look how many people died.
Oh, it's horrible.
Look how many people are dying and having effects from the vaccine. If you look at, for example, the worst atrocities in human history, whatever. What would be one of the worst atrocities?
The Black Plague.
Yeah,
maybe.
Black Plague. Hitler, yeah. Extermination of the Jews.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
COVID-19 dwarfs them all. It dwarfs them. And I think history, that's my opinion, I think history will show that. I think that story will be told one day because the information is out there.
Well, 6 million people haven't died from COVID, right? Yet.
If you look at COVID deaths,
I know that in America, I don't know what the tally was. Remember when the John Hopkins Institute was tally, we've surpassed our million mark. I don't know where it is now.
Here's why it was so bad, too.
But they were calling shit COVID that wasn't even COVID.
Nope. I ask this question all the time.
Right. I know where you're going.
Nobody died at home. They all died in hospitals. Yeah. This was a mass extermination of whoever the fuck was dumb enough, and not even dumb enough. Whoever was doing what they were told to do.
Well, anybody
you get COVID, go to the hospital.
Well, anytime something gets extreme and you're feeling like you get to a point in I'm fucking sick, I need more than I can get at home. So you think.
But they were saying, hey, don't wait. As soon as you think you might have COVID, go to the hospital.
We'll get you on this vent.
We're going to get you on that ventilator.
Boom.
We're going to get you on that remdesivir. We're going to get you on that shit, boy.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get off that. But yeah, so I'm very curious to see how everything unfolds.
Me too, man.
I know Trump is.
I hate it for the guy.
Yeah, but if that judge, this might make him even stronger. If he gets elected, then it all goes away.
If this is how it is, then do it to everybody then, Then treat everybody this way. Treat everybody like you treat Trump. And it's obvious that whether you like him or not, whether you support this or not, if you support the things that are happening right now, you probably hate Trump, okay? And that's a big part of it. A big part of this is they know half the country despises this guy. So there's enough support because if you hate, it's called orange man bad. Right?
Orange man bad.
Yeah, because if you hate, it's so... their hatred is so deep for this man. There are people that have been fantasizing about, they want to lock him up, and they want to lock up...
They got candles lit right now. They're masturbating to the thought of it.
They want to see this guy shot. They want everything horrible for this guy. I don't feel that way about anybody. I don't care. I hope Joe Biden has a nice life. Whatever. You know what I mean? There's a certain level of hatred for Trump in a lot of people's hearts.
Oh, they want him dead. They wish death.
They just want him eaten by buzzards, and they want to watch it on video, and they'll have a party.
Well, those are probably the same people that were stoning witches back in the day.
Yeah, and they're the same people who are in the White House right now pushing this agenda and pushing this stuff down our pipe.
These are our humble opinions and our common sense perspectives.
That's it.
Which is what you find on the ManFUzed motherfucking podcast. Hey, thanks for listening to the ManFUzed podcast. If you'd like to weigh in, join the show, hit us up at ManFUzed.com or by calling 770-744-5227. Get up with us tomorrow.